welcome back. We're going to do another drawing this week. We're going to follow up the human eye with a flower called a hibiscus. It's Mrs. Brigatti's favorite flower. It's a beautiful flower. We've got Easter coming up, we got Mother's Day coming up, so do a nice job. It would make a nice gift, and you could write a little note along with it to tell your mother how much you appreciate her. Okay, I loved the human eyes you did. Please, when you finish these, send the pictures on Seesaw. I'd love to see them. Okay, get your pencil, meet me at the drawing table. Okay, we're back. So we're going to start the hibiscus with the stamen, that part in the middle that sticks out. Okay, this has a long stamen. I'm going to start near the middle of my paper, and it's going to curve down. Very few straight lines in nature. Okay, it's got a little thickness to it, and it gets a little thinner as it comes toward the end. And then on the end, there's little shapes, another little stem with a circle on the end, another little stem. Okay, this is what creates the pollen, I think. I'm not the science teacher. We'll have to ask Mr. Gover about this. Okay, maybe there's 3 on that side, maybe there's 4 on this side. Who knows, right? Now, for the petals of the flower, this is the trickiest part, because we imagine that the flower is going to wind up a circle and that there are 5 petals. So we got to try to approximate how big each petal would be. 1/5 of a circle, right? You should know your fractions. So I'm going to start here. All the petals start near the middle. They come out. They're not just perfect shapes. They got little jaggedy edges to them. I would say right there, that's about 1/5. Let me make another. Maybe this one's a tiny bit behind that one. So it's going to come here. Come back toward the middle. Third guy comes out. Back toward the middle. Now this fourth one is going to be behind the stamen. So I'll go right through it. Come back toward the middle. And then the 5th one. Maybe this one's a little bit buried behind the other 2. There's the shape of our flower. Now the big part is going to be the shading, okay? We're going to make different values so that this flower looks like it has some form. Right near the middle is very dark. This is our darkest value, okay? Just a little line of thick, dark black. And then coming out of it, we've got little more gray. Now we're imagining that these come out from the middle. Okay, so we're not just making straight lines all going up. Like as I get near the edge, they're going to start going to the side a little bit more. I'm also, if you notice, as I'm drawing the lines, I'm lifting my pencil up. I'll exaggerate it for you. But as you lift that pencil up, it tapers the edge of your lines. So they come to like a point. And what we're looking for here is smooth transition. See how this is dark to much lighter? So we're going to make like a second layer in here. Get a little bit darker near the middle so that it looks smoother coming out. It's not just dark to light gray. We want to give the illusion that it's a smooth transition coming out. And now that's cool. But on each petal also, I'm going to give a little darker edge to the outside. And then coming back toward the middle, we're going to do the same kind of thing. Again, these lines should point right toward the middle. This actually reminds me of our last project, when we did the human eye. And look, they're not all the same length either. It shouldn't look like a straight line across. Okay, some of them would be a little longer. Irregularity in nature. Very few straight lines in nature. Everything's got a little kick to it. But we're going to leave an area in the middle of lightness, a highlight in the middle, right across there. Now I'm going to move to the next petal. same pattern. And I'm going to tell you something, a little secret here too. Artists tend to prefer drawing their lines a certain way. I don't like going like that, okay? I'm going to turn my flower a little bit so I can make lines that are comfortable for the motion of my wrist. So watch this, coming out. Gotcha. Just happy little lines coming out of the middle. Without a care in the world. Soaking up some sunshine. Give the outer rim a little bit of a darker line, and then come back toward the middle again. Like so. Making sure to vary the length of the lines. Don't make them all the same. We don't want it to look like a ladder, like rungs of a ladder. No, not the idea. Also, I do want to give the illusion that it's a little darker at the edge. So I'm just going to come back and make a little bit of darkness near the edge. Some spots. Make a little bit of a transition from that dark middle. Okay, again, I'm going to turn a little bit. I like making my lines left to right like this. Darkness. And then light. Okay, tapering again, lifting that pencil so those lines taper. It's a good word, taper. And you know, you might think artists and math teachers don't go together, right? Artists is more creative. Math is like concrete. 2 + 2 is 4. 11 times 12 is, say it if you know it, 132. Okay? And that's very concrete. But I actually read a really good book this summer about teaching art, and it talked about teaching art, not just with math, but with all subject areas, because there's something about art, a skill that should translate to more academic skills. And that is paying close attention to details. Okay, now I don't like these lines, so I'm actually going to come this way, all the way around, and feel free to do this. See, I'm much more comfortable making my lines this way. Just that motion of my wrist from left to right. Again, leaving that highlight in the middle and getting a little darker along the edge, a little stronger. And darkness comes from pressure on my pencil. Just pushing a little bit harder. They do sell fancy artist pencils that are darker and lighter lead, but we can do all this with one pencil, with a number 2 pencil. Now we got 2 more petals left. So again, that skill of the artist to pay attention to detail. I actually post this as a target skill sometimes. Anyone remember? About paying attention to detail. And look, these 2 petals are going to get mixed, so I'm going to darken that edge a tiny bit so I can see that that petal stops and the other one starts. Coming out, tapering, tapering. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. That skill, by the way, of paying attention to detail, I said it's attending to a word that starts with P. Again, I like to go this way with my lines. Forgive me if I'm making you dizzy. And come back toward the middle again. Attending to precision. Precision, precise. Okay, if we practice attending to precision in our drawing, the theory is we're going to attend to more precision in our math or in our reading. Do you believe it? Either way. If you're just doing it because it's fun, that's fine too. Even better. Okay? Should be fun. Now the last part, I'm trying to make that original darkness almost its own little circle. But look, it's not a perfect circle. Nothing is. You don't see perfect circles in many places. Even a bubble that tries to make itself a perfect circle is imperfect. It's always moving, as a matter of fact. It never stays, and actually not a circle. It's a three-dimensional circle. Okay, and now the stamen is going to have a shadow. Okay, the sun coming from the top. I'm going to make the bottom of the stamen darker. Just a dark line along the bottom. A little bit darker near the middle, coming out. And I'm going to make the underside of each of these circles. I know it's a subtle thing, but the underside of these circles a little darker. Look at that. It's going to give those circles a little bit of form, a little bit of 3D, a little bit of volume, if you will. So if you did the math lessons, you know what I'm talking about with volume. We don't calculate volume of spheres in 5th grade, but you will. You will before you're done with your schooling. Volume of a sphere. Oh, what's the formula? Oh, dang, I should know that. I think it's 4/3 pi r squared. Don't quote me on that, but if my memory is any use, that is the formula. Okay, now that's a beautiful flower right there, no? But let's give it a stem. It's like out in space, and this is up to you. You could do the stem or not. I prefer it. So the stem has a little hood on it. And since the stem is behind the flower, it's going to be darker back there. Okay? So let's make that dark. And again, the underside will be darker than the top. Things that artist needs to think about. Okay, a little bit of shading. Whole thing, just a lighter shade of gray perhaps. And then the stem. I'm going to give a little offshoot. We're going to do a little leaf. How about that? What do you think of that? Okay, again, since this side is darker on the top, we're going to make this side have a little bit of more shade to it on the stem. Just kind of, again, try to give a transition. It's not just one dark line on one side and then all white in the middle. There's a little bit of a transition going on. The leaf has jagged edges. Comes out this side. And then it's got those veins, just like in our arms. But the veins are not straight lines. They're jagged, they're crooked. They're imperfect. Yet somehow they do their job. Now I'm going to make the middle of this a little bit darker because I'm imagining that the leaf curves toward the middle. Okay? And everywhere that curves inward is going to cast a shadow. Okay? We'll also see some shadow along the outside. But we don't just color the whole thing in gray. We vary it. There will be darks and lights. And that's what makes form. That's what an artist sees, how the light hits objects and illuminates them in different ways. Okay, my veins are going to stick out a little bit more. A little bit darker toward the middle with just some highlights, like the sun is hitting that certain part of the leaf. So there's our hibiscus. What do you think? I want you to give it a shot. I want you to try it. Try more than once if you need to. To be honest with you, this isn't my first one. This is my third one. But they all came out pretty nice. I would challenge you, if you do this nice in pencil, try it with a colored pencil. Because you can make different values of red or blue. I've only seen these flowers in red, but you could look it up on Google and see if they come in different colors. Good luck. Show me what you make. I'd love to see it. Post it on Seesaw. See you soon.